KTM thought they can do better. It's not enough for them to just remove the PDS shocks from the 2026 lineup. They thought they're going to remove the Brembo brake from the upcoming lineup. In this episode, we are going to break it down how this will affect the end users, you and me, what they are going to do to replace the Brembo brake. Is this going to hurt the Brembo as a brand at all? What they're going to do when it comes to clutch. Before we start, today's video powered by URMOSI. We design and manufacture dirt bike parts like the 720 SBC or flexible brake pedals and more. Built by riders who believe some things can be done better. Learn more on our website. So KTM decided to hire 11 highly skilled engineers who has 20 years experience in the industry, and the task was to make 19 different brake components which KTM used to replace the Brembo brake with. That's including the master cylinder, what goes inside the cylinder, and then mainly the brake lines. So they no longer going to use the brake line. I guess it's made by Brembo. I didn't even know that. So VP under the KTM umbrella going to make 300,000 master cylinders, 300,000 brake calipers, and 1.5 million brake lines per year. That's a massive scale. And mainly the reason why they're doing that, you and me both know, to saving money. They said they are doing this because they don't want to use other manufactured parts and they have to build their bike around that parts, which is BS, because that other manufacturer is really relying on these incomes and they do whatever KTM asks them to do to make sure it meets with KTM standards. That's that. So the other player who is going to do all of these 19 different parts, it's called VP. A little bit about this company. Right now, you know, as they are the guys who are making the suspension, the VP suspension. The company started out 1977 and they called themselves White Power. That's, it has a tone, right? So they realized it's not really accurate to say White Power. So when KTM bought them 1990s, they just become VP. But we know what that means, at least now you do, if you haven't known that yet. But anyway, that's the plan. And they planning to introduce this system on the street bikes first. Then it's gonna work its way down on the supply chain. So they're gonna swap that Brembo brakes from the entire lineup to VP brakes. So in the future, no longer will be a Brembo brake, it will be a VP brake. Which is, I don't know if it's good or not. If they say what they claim, which is they building the system around their bikes, it could be better. And the worst part is we have our aftermarket parts built around this system, which is no longer needed. So everything is going to be fresh. Like you cannot use the same protector, you cannot use the same brake pads because it will be different. Brake lines, probably they're going to make it when they can use, you can only use their system. It's not going to be compatible with other systems to begin with. But that's just a problem for the beginning until the manufacturers are working their way around it and making these parts available. I know we don't really care that part, but I'm kind of curious, does Brembo get hurt by this? You know, the KTM is a big player, and if they, just the first year, they start making 300,000 units, and that's not even covering the entire lineup. Far as money, that's a lot of money what Brembo will missing out, or do they? The way I look at it, probably they're gonna missing the money in the short run, but they're getting into the car industry so deep now, and those brakes are so expensive. So they keep building themselves up as the time goes on. Also, Starkvag is become a big and even bigger player as the time goes on. More people discover how good these bikes are, then more bikes Stark will sell, and more Brembo brake system goes on the Starkvag. So in the short future, maybe the Brembo will just switch from KTM to Stark, but the end results will be the same. I don't think it will happen anytime soon because Stark not even close to sell as much as KTM done, but the way they grow, even they are surprised on that. And the last thing is I'm talking about, which is I found the most interesting, which is nobody's talking about, the clutch. What they are going to do on that front. If they listen to Billy Boat, then they're gonna bend the end of the lever up. If they wanna listen to Manny Latin Bickler, then they're probably gonna build a lighter clutch pool. If they listen to me, they can do both because they can afford it, because they're doing it in-house. So why the hell not? If they're willing to do it at all, which is, there is still another player called Magura. I don't think they're going to go down on that route. I don't really like that company, but that's uncertainties what they're going to do next. Hopefully they can build this system later on. Probably we're still going to see Brembo in the short term, but as these changes going on, I'm pretty sure they want to switch for something which is the number one for them is cost saving, and number two, make sure you and me kind of like it in a way. If we do, then they said, this is what you get, suck it up and move on. That's my take, really quick. I found it quite interesting. KTM is not gonna, they're just not the boating company as they were before, because these cost savings are... Anyway, this was just a quick chat between you and me. Let me know what you think down on the comment. Another thing what we can talk about it, if they going to keep the 350cc lineup or not. That's gonna be maybe the next week question. I don't know how soon they will announce another crazy news, but I'll keep you guys posted.